Hello, and welcome to the show. You are listening to the Bonneville Basketball Report. My name is Ryan Linkshite, and I'm your host today. It was January 18th, 2015. The Seattle Seahawks were the hottest team in football. Nobody was supposed to beat them. And every reporter out there thought that they would just clean out the Packers because their defense had already done it to Peyton Manning. Why wouldn't they do it to Aaron Rodgers? In the first quarter of the game, Green Bay scored 13 points to Seattle's 0 points. Second quarter, still 0 points from Seattle. But then, in the third quarter, Seattle scored 7 points. Fourth quarter, 15 to Green Bay 6, which sent it to overtime. Now, let's go over what happened in the game. Seattle interception, Seattle fumble, Seattle punt, Seattle interception. Third quarter, punt, finally a touchdown, then a punt. Fourth quarter, punt, interception, touchdown, overtime. Now, if you're a Bonneville fan, which most people listening to this podcast are, hopefully, maybe if you aren't, that's alright. But if you're a Bonneville fan, you're very familiar to this. Hillcrest came into the game on Wednesday, being the undisputed favorites. They should have swept Bonneville, but they didn't. They didn't do that at all. The first and second quarter was unbelievable. It seemed like Hillcrest, in basketball, there's no punting, but it seemed like they were punting it away and intercepting it every time. If watching the game, it felt like Bonneville came into the game wanting it more than Hillcrest. Hillcrest just didn't seem like they were there. It looked like they had taken a nap 30 seconds before the game. But it all changed for Bonneville in the third quarter. Sure, they held the lead. They held the lead for the fourth quarter, but it seemed like Hillcrest had woken up. Something the coach had said, something a player had done, riled them up. Maybe it was the box out on Randon Hossert. Maybe it was the block. Maybe. I don't know what it was. But midway through the third quarter, Hillcrest was able to go on a run. Towards the fourth quarter, Bonneville fans started getting anxious, started getting scared. The student section just wanted the game to end because Hillcrest kept on creeping up, kind of like Seattle did in the 2015 championship game, NFC championship game. Just kept on creeping up. When in the last 2 minutes of the basketball game, coaches were in a Russian roulette. Timeout. And we're sitting there wondering, is there going to be a big play that Bonneville's going to regret? And Bonneville held strong. Bonneville played tough defense, hands in the face, box out, close out, everything you do to win a basketball game. Everything that you can do to upset the top team. But how do you guard a half-court shot that's not even from the half court? The Bonneville student section is talking trash to the Hillcrest section because everyone knows this shouldn't be happening. Everyone knows Bonneville should not be winning this game. But Bonneville is doing the unreal. And Bonneville is beating our rivals. So of course, trash talk is being exchanged. But as the game goes on, Bonneville section is starting to quiet down a bit. So Hillcrest takes their last timeout, 0.2 of a second left. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I should go to my car, maybe beat the traffic. But I stay. And I'm darn glad that I did. Not as a Bonneville fan, I'm not glad, but as a basketball fan, I am. Because what happened was just pure crazy. The Hillcrest Knights come out of their timeout, run their action play, get the ball off, puts up a miracle shot past the half court, and I'm thinking, no way. And as I think that, swoosh, it goes through the hoop. Hillcrest fans go nuts because the game is not over. Hillcrest is able to keep the game alive and try and win the ball game. And that's exactly what they did. And as the overtime went, they got their lead for the first time in the game, and Bonneville fans had their worst nightmare that they dreaded. Hillcrest gained a lead. And see, sitting there, I was like, why are you guys freaking out? Like, we can come back from this. And some of the comments were crazy. Like, before the game, I heard one guy say, why pay $5 to see our butts get kicked? And it was far from that. But Hillcrest got their miracle shot, and we didn't get our miracle shot. So sure, we lost to Hillcrest, but we really stayed in the game. We were no pushovers by any fault at all. We may be at the bottom of the standings, like most people predicted, but these teams aren't beating us easily. Hillcrest did not get a cakewalk like everyone thought. And one of the top teams in the 4A division just got beat by us in the Preston tournament. So, sure, Bonneville's losing some key games, which is not helping our case in media polls or coaches polls. But people really need to stop overlooking Bonneville. My case for it is because Bonneville has constantly been able to stay in games with these 4A powerhouses that other teams have not been able to stay in with. We have not played Idaho Falls, Skyline, Shelley, or Blackfoot yet, but those are our conference games. But I don't think it's too early to write them out yet, or too late to write them out, because Bonneville is playing these games. Until they play Idaho Falls, you cannot write these guys out. Hey, thanks for listening, guys. I couldn't have done this without idahosports.com. They have great statistics and they put out scores and standings every week. So please go check them out. Thanks for listening a ton. You guys have a great week.